Yo, what is up guys? It's Guilte. Got another guide video for you today. The last series was over hero movement and how to move around the map with each specific hero on each specific map. This series that I'm starting now is going to be breaking down each hero. It's going to be geared towards, newer players, so a lot of the stuff you're going to know. I'm starting out with Widowmaker because it was the most requested one from you guys, so I'm going to go over Hookshots, different tactics. A lot of this stuff is going to be super simple, especially for Widowmaker, just because she's more of like an aim-based character, and there really isn't much to her kit. She's not someone like, Genji or a really complicated character. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let's break into the tutorial part. So first things first, let's start with the most simplest thing, and that's Widowmaker's scope. So unlike games like Counter-Strike or Call of Duty where you scope in, you can instantly shoot, you actually have to wait for your damage to charge up in this game. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to wait for a full charge to one-shot headshot someone. So characters like McCree, Zenyatta, Tracer, that are generally around 200 HP to 150 HP, you can actually one-shot them at 50% charge, so you don't have to wait for your full charge. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't a scenario where you should not wait for your full charge. So when you're fighting things like Roadhog, or when you're fighting things like Reinhardt that are very slow moving, that don't really move out of your line of sight once they're in your line of sight because they move so slow, you actually want to wait for your 100% charge headshot to go through because that's going to be your quickest way of killing them. So moving on to the next thing here, and this is the one newer players ask about the most, it's hookshotting. It's actually very easy to do a hook shot. So what you do is when you hook to an object, right before you're about to land on that object, you hit the space bar. And what this does is it propels you farther into the air. The reason hookshotting is so important is it allows you to get angles that you can't normally see. So if the enemy team has a Reinhardt shield, it allows you to shoot above the Reinhardt shield. It lets you get to places you can't see. It also lets you surprise other people. So say the Widowmakers, the other team has a Widowmaker and she's playing in a spot and she's like expecting you to peek a certain angle. If you hook shot, she's going to be taken off guard, and it's a lot harder to hit a person flying through the air at an angle than it is someone just peeking out of a corner or something like that. So it's very important that everyone learns this. If you're planning on playing Widowmaker, it's probably the biggest way Widowmakers get picks is hook shotting. So definitely learn this if you haven't already. So this is something that I've kind of talked about in a previous video. It's the one on crosshair placement and aiming. This is something that it applies to every FPS game. You want to try to always stay mobile when shooting, and something about Widowmaker is you actually can't jump and shoot at the same time. But one thing you can do if you're peeking out of an angle, if you're peeking out of a corner, is to kind of jump out and then scope in. So you actually can't scope in and then jump. You have to do it the other way around. You have to jump first and then scope in. But the thing to keep in mind is if you're going to one-shot someone, you're actually going to have to sit on the ground and wait a little bit, because there is a split second where you're going to be at low charge and you're not going to be able to one-shot someone. So you're going to wait for that 50% charge before you actually shoot, or else you're just going to dink them and they're going to be left with 1 HP, and they're probably going to kill you, or they're going to run away and get healed up. But this is something you always want to try to do when you're peeking another Widowmaker. Try to always throw off your head level. Try to stay mobile. Don't stay in one spot. Don't peek them straight out. Try to just kind of throw them off guard. Either do a hook shot or try to jump out and scope. So the next thing we're going to talk about here is Widowmaker's Venom Mine. It's actually very useful. It's kind of like a Claymore, although it doesn't one-shot kill. But when you use it correctly against like a Genji or Tracer, or someone where you can't reliably get a headshot on because they're either moving too fast or they're very close to you, it's something that can really help you win that 1v1 versus a Genji or Tracer. So basically, this is obviously a mock scenario. It's not necessarily a scenario that's actually happening. But basically the idea behind it is when you feel like the Tracer is going to blink towards you or the Genji's going to dash at you, right before they do that, you set the Venom Mine down. And what this does is it does enough damage that you no longer have to get a headshot to kill them. Obviously, generally this happens mid-fight, so you've been fighting them for a while. So you can actually normally get a one-shot body shot kill, but the whole point of it is that you no longer have to go for a headshot to at least trade with them, because sometimes there's going to be times where it doesn't one-shot kill them right away, like this one, where it kills them a little bit after, and they're going to kill you, but the thing is you get the trade, which is super important. It just makes 1v1s versus Genjis or Tracers easier, and it's even good for characters like McCree if they're near you. Sometimes going for the headshot is not necessarily the easiest thing to do, and so you kind of have to mind game in a way and make them bait them into you. But this is something that's really important, and it can be very useful against, like I said, fast characters where you don't have time to get headshots. But anyway, guys, that's it for the Widowmaker breakdown. Like I said, it's simple. There really isn't much to her kit. It's basically like a raw aim character. That's how most of these are going to be, though. It's going to be talking about how and when to use the abilities and your cooldowns and all that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.